The air is still and tense in this particular grove on this particular day. The woods are densely packed with large, muscular, green-skinned creatures. It appears the whole community has gathered for this event. The fading orange sunlight casts the shadows of the trees long over the ground, giving an ominous presence to this stretch of forest, leaving most of the already dark faces in complete shadow, obscuring the detail of their features. Before the mass is a small, elongated rectangle made from dried sticks and wood. Atop is the body of an immense orc, its green skin drawn tight over the hulking muscles below. There are no movements underneath the golden fabric draped over the body. No motion of breath. Next to the pyre stands a Neph, nestled between the elder and Garok. The young half-orc holds aloft a lit torch, its flames flickering shadows across their saddened faces. The flare exposes tears slowly beating down the face of the young woman, and a faint shimmering behind the eyes of the warrior orc Garok. Beyond the pyre, raised about 5 feet off the ground, is a hastily built wooden dais, in juxtaposition with the ornate podium that sits upon it. Out of the darkness, another, more bestial orc appears, its blue-hued skin giving it the appearance of a camouflage in the fading light. This orc is holding tight with both hands to a large, battle-worn axe, and seems to refuse to relinquish its weapon as it stops behind the podium. Its dark eyes scan the crowd and the three near the pyre before stopping at the motionless body upon it. With a visible effort, the Orog releases its grip on the axe, which plunges, burying its head in the makeshift stage.
Cave Mother be praised. Garumsh be praised. We, the children of the Luthic, are larger, smarter, and stronger than the typical orc. This is indisputable. Out of fear of our abilities, we are often cast aside or even disposed of before maturity. Tarok the Blaze was truly an exemplar of our kind. He did not see me or my brothers as an enemy to be feared or destroyed. He saw us as allies, as friends, as kin. We sought out Orog, who had been exiled, and gave them a place in society here. A place of distinction, a home. Tarok the Blaze, may you shine forever bright. The Orog will not forget you.
The Orog begins to move away from the podium with tears in its eyes. As its blue skin begins to merge with the swelling darkness, it stops and wrenches the massive axe from the wood with an easy single motion before raising it high into the air, its blade glimmering in the torchlight.
Tarok the Blaze will not be forgotten. Tarok the Blaze to Acheron, to the infinite battlefield.
Tarok the Blaze to Acheron, to the infinite battlefield.
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them.
Hello, everybody. Everybody listening to...
You doing a new thing for this?
What?
You said you're doing a new thing for this?
I'm doing a new thing. Why not? Thought I'd try it. Everybody. Welcome to Encounter This. Welcome to another episode in Orctober. I think this one's the second one?
Yeah, this is the penultimate episode.
The penultimate episode of Orctober, the one you've been waiting for since before this one. And I am your co-host, Freeman Shield of the Innocents, Easton. And of course, the one bringing us through this interesting suite of orcs is my co-host, James Lurtz Kid. And today we are covering Orogs, which can be found on Monster Manual, page 247. Please take over.
Yeah, so I want all of the listeners to remember what my nickname is through this episode, because if you're not familiar with what or who Lurtz is, then it's going to be a shocker for you.
I can't wait. I recognized it, and then I did peek ahead and just caught it later on in the notes here, and I went, oh.
Yeah, not a choice I would normally make for myself. And I have spent my entire life pronouncing this Urog, but I don't think that's accurate, so we're going to go with Orog or Orog.
Yeah. I'm on the Orog train, yeah. Orog.
Okay, so we'll go with Orog.
Okay.
They appear in 2nd, 3rd, and 5th edition. However, I could not find any art from 2nd or 3rd edition. I think they might just be a modified orc stat block.
Yep, fair enough.
So we just have the 5e art.
Okay.
And it somehow looks beefier and more jaw-lined than the regular orc, which is a wild preposition. Because if you listen to our orc episode, we discussed how that creature is all jawline.
Wait, you said that was a weird preposition? Do you mean proposition?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. That's an odd one for you to make a mistake on, because you always know your little English language terms. I always forget them, and you're always like, I don't think that's a preposition.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was doing some grammar work earlier, but
fair enough.
Nothing to do with this.
It's logged in the short term. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't even know where we were anymore.
Sorry. Yeah. No, you're right. Like these guys are they are beefier. They are jaw-lineier. Although we don't have this artwork has a more direct view to their face. So the jawline is not as obvious, but they are beefy boys. Holy, look at the thighs on that thing.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
If orcs are thick with 1 C, these are thick with 2 Cs.
Maybe even a 3rd C. Yeah.
Let's not get crazy, but
yeah,
we reserve the right to add a 3rd C.
Yeah, it's something else. Yeah, it looks monstrous. Is there a reason for this?
Yeah, so they are stronger and smarter than regular orcs. They tend to use tactics and are even sometimes underestimated by their opponents. They are specialized orcs that have been gifted with a higher intelligence, and within the tribe it is believed that this is specifically a gift from Luthik, the Cave Mother.
Oh, okay.
We touched on Luthik in the first episode, and we'll touch on the Claws of Luthik next episode. But when an Urog is born into a tribe, it is felt throughout. There's quite a bit of tension between the war chief and the Urog, as well as some blessings, which we'll go into a little bit later. They are about 6 to 7 feet tall, and they weigh between 165 and 240 pounds.
Okay.
I didn't come up with any comparisons, because that's about what I weigh.
Yeah, that seems extremely light for their height and their apparent bulk. Because I'm just under 6 feet, and I'm in that range as well. And I'm a barrel-chested man, but I'm not in shape. And muscle weighs a good amount, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does.
I believe it weighs more than fat, does it not? Am I wrong about that?
I have no idea.
It still seems like an oddly low number for weight.
It does, yeah, and I'm sure these weights come from 2nd or 3rd edition, because they're definitely not from 5th edition. So,
okay, that's coming from the Forgotten Realms wiki or what have you.
Yeah, this is from the Forgotten Realms wiki.
That's fair.
And also from that location is that they can live up to about 85 years. So that's those keeping track double the standard orc.
Gotcha. And that's, of course, assuming they weren't killed in combat.
Yes. Yeah.
I imagine the average lifespan's much lower.
Probably, but they're also a lot stronger and a lot smarter, and we'll touch on that after the ad break. But yeah, they're it's possible that they could live up to 85.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then, according to the Monster Manual, they want nothing more than just to kill. They form no attachments at all. They have no concept of love or dedication, and they worship Grumsh for their strength and Luthik for their intelligence. So, again, that's from the Monster Manual. As we'll touch on next episode, Volos walks some of this stuff back, so there might be some inconsistencies
Yeah, the next episode we'll sink our teeth into exactly that and the problematic things surrounding it. It just honestly just makes them sound like they're some high functioning sociopath.
I think that's how we're supposed to think of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Dexter in the Rock's body.
Right. What a combo. Holy shit. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
So in their society, because of they're smarter, they're stronger, and they're bigger, this makes them ideal leaders, which, as I mentioned earlier, makes them kind of dangerous to war chiefs. So sometimes they'll be exiled or even killed when they're young. Though this is less common because the theory is that if you kill a young Urog, it will bring the wrath of Luthik upon your tribe.
Ooh, okay. I wonder how much truth is that, and how much of that is superstition amongst the tribes and the clans and that sort of thing.
I have not found any evidence for it to be factual, though there isn't much on Urogs, even through the 3 editions.
Yeah, I always imagine things like that when, even though we have what a lot of people would argue is a demonstrable presence of gods, stuff like that always rings like a superstition to me for those who worship said gods, because I just assume that even if we know they exist in that world, they're seldom looking, and are quite fickle, as a general rule, in my opinion. So yeah, I like it, but it's good. It's kind of good flavor, despite the problematic stuff surrounding it there. But I kind of love stuff like that. It's like, oh, we believe this is a gift from Luthik, therefore we should not squander it. In particular, if we do the opposite or even go a step further, then we'll be in trouble ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the word possibly bringing the wrath of Luthik is what solidifies it as legend in my mind.
Totally.
But it's because of this animosity from the war chiefs that when they're born, they're taken by the priests of Luthik and then raised by them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where Volo starts to walk stuff back a little bit, because it turns out that having an Urog is actually quite good for your tribe. Since they're not really trusted by other orcs, they don't raid, so they stay back, and they're the main protectors of the orc stronghold while the rest of the orcs are out on their raids.
Gotcha.
And then if there's a dispute for the war chief, the power and the might and the fear of the Urog can be used to keep the tribe intact while they elect a new leader. So it's very rare that Urogs become leaders of these tribes. They just kind of hold it together through fear and intimidation.
Okay, interesting. I'm with you. I'm a little confused. I know there's more to come. I'm just a little confused because I think I recall utilizing one of these before. But I don't have a story, unfortunately, because I can't quite recall the details. But I remember something extra and different than this in particular. I don't remember reading this portion of lore. So I'm intrigued for sure.
Yeah, so they have their own section at the front of Volos, as well as in the monster manual. So that's where this society stuff is coming from.
Right.
It's not coming from the monster manual at all. That's
very
Spartan, and it's really just they only want to kill and murder. So
right. Okay, cool. But I like that. I like that breakdown. Like, there's an obvious sign when they're born that they are, different. In this respect, this strength and intelligence respect. Therefore, they are ideal leaders, but of course, a war chief with pride is going to see them as a danger to their station, right? And pass them off to the nuns, if you will.
Yeah,
and have them raise them in a different respect, hoping to sort of squash the potential, but without angering the god, so on and so forth. It feels like a very classic sort of tale, And I kind of like it. I think it's all right so far. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
That portion.
But a smarter war chief will, especially one that's created a horde, which, as we touched on in the first episode, is multiple tribes that have banded together become a horde.
Right.
That war chief could possibly give Urogs their own detachment. So, like, you have this battalion of Urogs in your army ready for a siege.
So you sort of have this stronger, smarter lieutenant or, captain or what have you. But what keeps them in their spot is the fact that they have one need, kill. And that is satisfied in their position. and then the war chief doesn't have to worry so much.
Yeah, it seems that way. Based on the lore we've written, the one the listeners will hear about in the exposition of this episode is I wrote it very differently. I wrote out that need to kill, and it was more they were the take I like better is that they're social pariahs and they're outcast to try and hold the tribe together, and that's what I tried to reflect in this week's exposition.
Okay. Remind me to touch on my very first D&D character in your campaign when we get to our personal experiences.
Okay. Speaking of being social pariahs, they are the ones that are cast out from a tribe can sometimes form their own warband. So like this mercenary company of Orogs can just exist. Because they're smarter, they will take on jobs, and they'll even hire themselves out to giants, evil wizards, maybe a Rakshasa, kind of what have you, anything to get paid.
Right.
But if they're not with an orc tribe, they prefer to live underground, meaning they thrive in the Underdark.
This is the part I remember.
Yeah, so that's also from the Monster Manual.
Okay.
And then, obviously, they'll travel to the surface for food and bloodshed and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. So the thing that I remember is that they thrived in the Underdark, or they were usually down there. It was more likely that they would be down there, and then if one did surface, and happened to run into a band of orcs, they would simply walk up to those orcs and be like, "I'm your leader now," and just show them. You're mine now. Maybe that was what I wrote in.
I think that's probably what you wrote in.
Yeah.
I may have passed that in my research and decided not to include it for consistency's sake.
I just remember it being because of their intelligence, they were ready, able, and willing and eager to cow other orcs if they ever came across them, if they were solo. And they would do it and use them to their own advantage, use their intelligence to just use them as tools, essentially. Which really just emphasizes that high-functioning sociopath element, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's consistent and thematically appropriate. I like it.
So maybe that's what I came up with in my interpretation. So yeah, who knows? That was years ago. So
yeah, it's also possible that I did just skip that particular part of the mythos for consistency's sake, because I'm not trying to accurately represent them in 5e. I'm trying to create an accurate picture of them through the editions when I do this stuff.
Sure, yeah. Of course.
So I do omit some of that conflict.
To any and all listening, there are many times we have to omit information. We don't cover every detail because some of these episodes, we already go on way longer on average than we ever planned when we first started this project.
No.
And we've come to terms with that, I think. But we still have to scrub a lot because we could go on forever. So,
but that's pretty much it. That's 5e. That's 2e. That's 3e. That's all we got. They're very, very simple, and frightening creatures.
Mm-hmm. Orog. I have a challenge for you. We're going to get into the usual honorable mentions and cultural lore and everything, but I have a challenge for you for the rest of this episode. Ever since we started,
is it to pronounce?
We decided Orog. Yeah, and you've said Urog ever since.
I said Orog once because I caught myself. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
That's funny. Yeah. That's funny. I swear I've been listening, not just paying attention to that.
No, it's fine. I understand my shortcomings in this particular area.
Mostly, I just want listeners who did catch it to know that I'm with them.
Okay, good.
I'm on board.
Good. Yeah.
No, go ahead. What do we got?
So we have a few honorable mentions. The first is Blugdub. They are from a module that I had never heard of before, which is a new thing for me. It is called Reclaiming Blingdenstone.
Oh, Blugdub from Blingdenstone. Okay.
And the reason I've never heard of this is because it was a 5e playtest module, but it's out in the world to begin with.
Is it officially released? Is it? Yeah.
I don't know if it's been officially released. I honestly didn't look further into it. But it definitely exists, and I think it's from 2013, so it would have been the year before 5e was published.
So I won't bother asking you what the premise is.
Yeah, please don't.
Okay. Next.
I did read it. I did this research 2 weeks ago.
That's fine.
I cannot remember.
I'm blanking. Go look up Reclaiming Blingdenstone. I'm not spelling it for you.
Yeah, if it exists, there will be a link to it in the show notes on our website.
Perfect.
As always.
As always. So dedicated.
Up next is Shield of Innocence. They are a paladin of Torm from AD&D 2E, specifically the Lands of Intrigue box set.
Oh, interesting. Torm, it's ringing a bell, but do you recall yourself who Torm is?
Torm is one of the Trinity gods. It's Torm, I believe Torm is the one-handed god of law, but fuck, I'm going to get blasted if I
Torm, known as the True and the Loyal Fury, was a god whose portfolio consisted of duty, loyalty, righteousness, and after the spell plague, law.
Does he have one hand?
His symbol was a right-handed gauntlet held upright with palm forward.
Fucking nailed it. Torm, the one-handed god of law. Yeah.
Verbatim. I've forgotten round zippy. Cool. Paladin of Torm. Didn't expect Paladin Orog orc thing. But, I mean, that's AD&D, so rules were fast and loose back then.
Still are.
By standard, yeah.
And the last one is also a source that I had never heard of before. It is an Orog called Ugbuz, and they are from the ruins of Myth Drannor, which is a video game.
Oh, okay. Unfamiliar.
Yeah, me as well. I will be looking into it, and there will be links to that as well in the show notes. But they are an Orog veteran under a wizard in the Cult of the Dragon. I read more than that, and I got spoilers for the video game, and I kind of got pissed, so I didn't include any of it. Because it sounds like a really interesting video game. I do not know what type of game it is, but it sounds great.
Fair enough. Keep your expectations extremely low.
Oh, yeah, Wizards make shit games.
Oh, man. I mean, people...
We haven't had a good
classic...
one since Neverwinter.
Classic people, there's a lot of classic love for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. That style of RPG gameplay I have never been a fan of, but I know people love it. The pause and play style. And then never played Neverwinter myself. Neverwinter Nights was like a free-to-play MMORPG, which is like eye roll.
You lost me. I think the original Neverwinter was a text-based RPG, and I think I played that because it was very similar to EverQuest. I played a lot of EverQuest as a kid, which I should not have played because, listeners, I am way too young to have played text-based RPGs. But I've played a shit ton of them because I think they're very interesting.
I've got a friend that he still plays D&D games that are on forums. He's just a forum-based game. He doesn't. Yeah. There's no voice chat whatsoever. Just message each other and make moves.
That's how I grew up role-playing, is forums and chat rooms. So I do want to try out this Ruins of Myth Drannor video game, but links to that information will be in the show notes if you're interested. And if it's co-op, let's just sign up on Patreon and we can play on Discord together. That'd be sweet.
Why not?
We have a little bit of cultural lore here, and this is a wicked stretch. I think you're going to allow it, but it is a stretch. This is all speculation. There's no written fact about this at all, so I need to make that clear. This is me speculating on where the Orogs come from. Orogs. This is me speculating on where the Orogs come from.
Yep.
So I believe that they were probably Uruk-hai, specifically the Isengarders. Mm-hmm. Am I pronouncing that right? Uruk-hai?
Uruk-hai, yeah, I believe that. That's more or less it, yeah.
Okay.
The Uruk-hai. I don't know.
I've heard it pronounced Uruk-hai, and that just doesn't feel right in my mouth.
Yeah, at least in the original trilogy, they say Uruk-hai. Yeah, they don't say Uruk. There's no y sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are they are from Tolkien. They are specifically super orcs bred for battle in Isengard. And again, we're only talking about the Isengarders because I went down a fucking rabbit hole to make sure I got this right for you nerds.
I bet you he still gets it wrong.
Probably, yeah. I spent hours researching Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
So Uruk-hai, the word is black speech for orc folk. Don't know what that means, but I assume it's a language.
Yeah, I believe black speech is like the language of like Mordor and something like that. So like the orcs and the goblins and all that. Yeah,
that makes sense. And Peter Jackson made up one specifically for his films called Lurtz, which I will put to you in the show notes. And this is the Urukai, the one that killed Boromir, which is the only one of note.
Mm-hmm.
However, they can often be seen with the iconography of a white hand, which I immediately related to the Claw of Luthik. Specifically, Lugdush, Lurtz, Malhar, and probably many more, but those are the only ones I could find by name that had white paw prints on their hand, but they definitely have this iconography.
Right. Yeah. The white hand of Saruman.
Yeah. Yeah, or the Claw of Luthik is probably directly related to this.
Yeah, probably straight influence, yeah.
Yeah, super orcs with a handprint on them, which is essentially what the Orog are super orcs created by the Claw of Luthik.
I mean, yeah, adds up. It's just like couldn't be more of a direct reference and inspiration.
Yeah.
Ever.
I actually think this is a really kind of homage as opposed to the straight up theft of orcs. I think this interpretation of Orog is actually a really, really nice homage to.
Yeah, because it's not like the iconography of a hand is unique to Tolkien or anything like that, or Urukai, right? So I'm with you. I agree. It's an homage, a little nod, but certainly a good one.
Yeah, it's really subtle. I think it's really done well, and it took a lot of digging. I mean, that being said, as soon as I read the Orog stat block, I was like, oh, these are Urukai. And I went down a thing. I now know who Lugdush, Lurtz, Mahar, and a couple more Urukai are.
Yeah. Do you know, off the top of my head, if Lurtz is named in the original trilogy books at all? Or
no, he was specifically made up by Peter Jackson for shitty films.
And what about any of these other ones?
The other ones are I don't know if they're named. I know a couple of them are named because I think it's Lugdush who actually kills Faramir at Helm's Deep.
Okay.
And Faramir was by far and away my favorite character of the books.
Oh no, Faramir would have died at not at Helm's Deep. He wasn't there. He would have been in Gondor.
Oh, I'm thinking of Captain Hamma, who died holding the gates.
Okay.
I think Lugdush specifically is the one who killed Hamma holding the gates, who is far and away my second favorite character. I don't know if I have a third favorite character in Lord of the Rings. Tom Bombadil, I guess.
Yeah, he's the best. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, when it comes to Lurtz, like I get it's a bit of an eye roll in retrospect, especially when I was a kid or when those films came out. I didn't care. I was loving every second of them. Get it older, you get a little more analytical, a little more critique comes out, and Lurtz is it made up by Peter Jackson in particular, or the screenplay writers, or is it pushed on? I mean, one thing is for sure. There's always a production push to make sure there is some sort of lead antagonist, and which
that's
is
kind of the issue.
Such a painful thing, yeah.
Right.
And you guarantee that's where Lurtz was born, right? Someone's decided there needs to be a main antagonist in the first film, which there doesn't, and Lurtz was it. And it's actually kind of nothing wrong with the fact that there was a bit of a focus on that Urukai in the film because it's a badass and it's going to be a major threat, And so, go ahead, by all means, make it a bit of an obvious threat, but a main antagonist, whatever.
So I like all of your points, and I agree with all of your points. Mm-hmm. My issue is that there is specifically a named Urukai in Lord of the Rings. I don't remember the name. I'm looking for it right now. Mm-hmm. Who is the leader of the Urukai?
Okay.
It's not Lurtz. Lurtz is just the strongest and the most violent. He rolls off the assembly line and immediately rips a goblin apart. So he's the first. He's the prototype. Mm-hmm. So there is the Urukai in the books. Ugluk, who is Saruman's left hand. So he's the one who commands the Urukai. There are some other ones here. There's Gorbag and Shargrat. But Lurtz isn't a leader. He's not necessary.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what Lurtz is his entire role as a character is just to showcase brutalism and identification. So I think this is Peter Jackson's way of inserting his influence on the movie, because he could have just taken a different one that already existed
Yeah.
from the books
Yeah.
and used them, as opposed to Lurtz, who is, according to lordoftherings.fandom.com, which I trust with my life, Lurtz is non-canonical.
Yeah.
However, he is the strongest of the Uruk.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean of all the Uruks, not just the Urukai.
Oh, that when you put it that way, if that's the case, then then I'm with you. Yeah, that's an insertion or assertion of what what's again. I'm loath to blame Peter Jackson per se, although it's his name on it, so it's like all the blame's going to go his direction, right? But like because the reason why is because of the travesty of the Hobbit trilogy and just how atrocious some of the decision making was in that, how bogged down the whole production became, and it was a lot. And on that one, it was like Peter Jackson did what most people would argue is a really great job with the original trilogy, and then he was given the Hobbit, and then everything was ripped out from under him when it came to producers and this sort of thing. And he came out and said it. And he's like, "This was not me. This is not what I wanted to do at all." Like he was like, and I had no choice. And so like the whole Azog, the White Orc thing in those films is like Lurtz times 1,000 how terrible it is. That's an
you
utterly
hear all
pointless
about
thing
that
to
in a
do.
Patreon exclusive. We're not here to shit on Jackson again. We have an excerpt dropping on Patreon. If you want to hear that, it's there because I'm not kind to that man. In that excerpt, and I won't be. I think there's no excuse. Like, yes, you are beholden to the studio, but also it's your job to make this film, and you can just as easily not make it as make it. Well, so it doesn't matter. But the point is that this character was specifically inserted to essentially embody the brutalism of this race,
right?
And it sucks that this unnamed character, I guess it's an unnamed character in the book, but this unnamed Uruk is the one to kill Boromir. Because I get that's the entire point of the character, is that you can recognize this extra brutal Urukai. Right. But it just doesn't seem, it doesn't seem valuable. I guess. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the movie, so maybe it is valuable plot-wise.
It's just a very tropish way of making the death more significant, I guess, maybe is the goal. Oh, a significant character is killed by a significant enemy, rather than an unceremonious death by a random enemy, which I love. I'm all for it. That's what I want. I want more of that.
You just triggered me so fucking hard.
I'm so sick of
because that is the point of Boromir's death, is that it's unceremonious. It has to be, because he dies a traitor. He dies a traitor and a thief and needs to die an unceremonious death. So to give him a ceremonious death,
really does.
These movies trigger the shit out of me, man.
Well, I tell you what helps me when I get upset about these things. It's a delicious blackmail stout.
Yeah. And I need one. I need one so bad.
Oh God! I shook this one up. Oh God! It's everywhere. Okay, it's not everywhere, but it's enough where.
But before we dip into that, there is a fun fact that I didn't know, so I just wanted to give it to the listeners.
Oh, sorry, I did it early. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. I need a beer. I finished mine, and I need to drink this. But this I thought was really cool because I didn't know that. It's that Urukai are specifically the Isengarders. They're specifically the Uruks that are made in Isengard. If they're Uruks from anywhere else, specifically Mordor, which is the only other place that come from, they're just Uruks. They're not Urukai. They're just Uruks.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I don't want to go too far more on this, but when it comes to...
but I don't know anything else.
When it comes to bread, like, did you come across anything in that? Because in the films, they just sort of dig them up, which I always thought was kind of strange. Like, they're just sitting there in the earth? Like, they don't really elaborate on that in the films. Maybe they had them, like, under the earth for a particular reason, breeding them or what have you. But it seemed like they just dug up old relics, and they were like, oh, yeah, I'm ready to go. Did you come across anything like that?
Yeah, so because I have the page open, I'll read it to you.
Okay.
Thank you, lotr.fandom.com, for this. Urukai were later bred by the wizard Saruman the White, late in the Third Age by his dark arts in the pits of Isengard. So that's it. They were the result of crossbreeding orcs and men.
Oh.
Yeah. They were half-orcs. They were as tall as men and never described simply as orcs, as the Uruk-hai frequently are. Saruman's vast armies of Uruk-hai fought against King Theoden of Rohan and his people at Helm's Deep.
All right. That's that.
I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I don't care.
Leave the in-film breeding up to your imagination, listeners.
Yeah, so they're created. They're genetically engineered. They're very similar to what we touched on in the last episode of Orogs, with trying to bring them back. This is Saruman trying to create an intelligent orc, I guess.
Yeah, mayhaps he influenced the process with his magics at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's got to be what it is. Otherwise, you'd end up with like a mule, a human orc hybrid that couldn't breed or something like that. I mean, you guys tell me. I don't know. And you know what? Tell Freeman.
What he does know. Yeah, tell me, because I'll actually be interested.
Oh, no, sorry. The first sentence is the Orcs first appeared in Mordor in TA 2475 when they assaulted and managed to conquer Ithilien and then destroyed the city of Osgiliath. The Orcs served in the Barad-dûr and used the symbol of the red eye of Saruman, which was also painted on the shields. The Uruk-hai were then later bred by Saruman. So the Orcs are just creatures of Mordor, but the Uruk-hai were specifically bred by Saruman, which is why they're super orcs, I guess.
Right.
Is what that name has
Selective
to mean.
breeding we're looking at now, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I mean, I've never seen a female Uruk-hai. There's certainly not one listed. That being said, they don't really mention their genders except via pronouns, which isn't indicative of their sex.
Yeah.
So who the fuck knows?
Who knows? Here's what we do know: is there is a stat block for these guys.
Yeah.
Well, for Orogs, not Uruk-hai.
Big thank you to Strange Phillips for getting me through that.
Big ups. Big ups.
Lot of Lord of the Rings reading, and the amount of times I just glazed over and had to go back and reread it because I did not find it interesting. It's wild. I think it took me like an hour and a half to write that one paragraph.
So funny. Oh, but you're like, I spent hours. There's 4 bullet points.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's so much information, and to boil it down to stuff that specifically relates to the Orog.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do know one thing, and it's that I feel like I'm going to be disappointed by the CR of these guys because I just feel like it's going to lead up to that with these. I feel like we've covered the disappointment with even with things with like November. When you have a list of creatures that are lumped together, they tend to all just be really shitty low CRs.
Yeah.
So
full
what do you got?
Disclosure, this is the most disappointing stat block of Orctober.
Oh no! Really? Is that why? Is that why you plugged it in here and not in the next episode? Just to get it out of the way, or what?
There's enough lore and enough cultural lore that I figured it deserved its own episode.
Okay. No.
That was the only reason why. I would love to just sweep this stat block under the carpet because it makes me sad.
Okay. Quick, run us through it. Quick.
All right. For reference, the standard orc is a CR 1/2. The Orog is CR 2, 45 HP, AC 18, plate armor. Medium, chaotic evil. They speak common and orc, and they have 60 feet dark vision. Those are all pretty consistent across all stat blocks.
Okay.
They have a strength of 4, a dex of 1, a con of 4, an intelligence of 1, which is actually 3 points higher than the regular orc, a wisdom of 0, and a charisma of 1. And those are modifiers, not ability scores.
Right.
I hope they don't have an intelligence of 1. So they're much more intelligent than regular orcs. I think the regular orc's strength is only 3, so they're only one modifier or 2 points stronger. But
right.
Intelligence is like 6 points, so it's much higher. They have one ability. It is called aggressive. As a bonus action, they can move up to its speed towards a hostile creature. Pretty solid bonus action, honestly. That changes their speed from 30 feet to 60 feet. So nothing to shake a stick at there.
Right.
That's kind of where it ends because that's their only ability. So that means we move immediately into attacks.
Okay.
And the disappointment begins with multi-attack. They have 2 Great Axe attacks, not 2 Great Axe or 2 Javelin, just 2 Great Axe attacks.
Okay. So they can only attack fast twice if they're holding a big heavy weapon. Not the long light, mobile one, but the big heavy one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Just making sure the logic's lining up.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do have a Javelin attack. It's +6 to hit, 30 over 120. And it is 1d6 plus 4 piercing. And then their other attack is the Great Axe, which is also +6 to hit, melee range, 1d12 plus 4 slashing. So
yeah.
And that's it. That's the entire stat block.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Cool.
I mean, aggressive is a good ability. I do not want to just brush by that because it's a really good ability, but we will cover it in, I don't know, every stat block we cover next episode. But beyond that, this is literally nothing special. Like
I think, and we've talked about this before. I can't remember if it's on this show or if it was during our play with Pathfinder in the last few months, but I think that maybe the reason Javelin's not in multi-attack is because there's an extra effort to make sure that you are drawing the weapon with Javelins, which is something that we talked about somewhere along the line, and I remember ruling, so it was probably in the Pathfinder sessions, that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you have like a pack of Javelins on your back, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that grabbing one of those and throwing it, especially if you're proficient in that weapon, should take really any more effort than pulling out an arrow from your quiver and drawing the string and firing and doing that twice. Like, you'll see multi-attack with bow attacks in 5e. I know you will. I'm quite sure we've covered them. But a javelin, for some reason, is left out because you have to draw it. And no bueno, if you ask me. I think that should 100% be included in the multi-attack. That's my homebrew right there.
I think there's also a multi-attack with the javelin in the next episode.
Right. And there's no reason to say you can't melee with a javelin. It's not like you can't poke it just because it's a thrown weapon. Like, melee it. Who cares? Does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's stupid.
So I remember the instance that you're talking about. I remember it well because the reason you ruled that, yes, you can make 2 attacks with a javelin is because of what I said to you, which is you have 2 hands. That means you can draw 2 javelins.
Seriously. like, come on. It's not rocket surgery at the end of the day, is it? You know what it just makes me think of? It makes me think of Diablo 2. And I used to love playing the Amazon in Diablo 2. And if you got a set of javelins that didn't have to, that could just replenish themselves, it was great. And you could but if you were in melee range, you automatically stabbed and not threw. But if you were far enough away, you hit the button that you needed to throw it. And I was like, that's perfect. Like, what? Awesome. Right. Like, it's a weapon that can be thrown or just meleeed and whatever. And the damage is a bit lower, but you have the versatility. And that's just where my brain goes with javelins in these games. Like, they should have a bit of versatility to them. Don't mitigate and limit that process. Like, it's kind of just stupid. I don't get it.
No, I don't either. And it's,
the only thing that should really hold you back is that javelins are going to be tremendously heavier than a quiver of arrows, and you're going to be able to hold fewer of them. So it's an ammunition thrown weapon kind of thing, but you're going to run out fast, right? So if you want to let everyone throw multiple, by all means, but just make sure you're sort of watching how many they have on their person and how much their encumbrance is at that point. If you want, like, it just,
Yeah, I mean, that could be it too. Maybe they've only got 1 javelin, and that was Wizards' rationale for not giving them the multi-attack because they just don't have more than 1 javelin.
But they don't give inventory to their stat blocks, so that assumption is stupid on their end if that's what they did, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, we are talking about an original Monster Manual creature inside of a larger block of creatures from 2014, which, as we've gone over in November and Hags, they didn't do a spectacular job on these creatures. They're not bad. But this one in particular stands out as a marked disappointment because
it's glaringly bland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're intelligent enough. I think they should have, and you might hate this a bit, but maybe they could know a spell or two. Like, there's no reason why they couldn't spend their time studying a found spell book and picking up magic missile or something. Like,
I like where your head's going, but I would tweak it ever so slightly and give them a battle maneuver as opposed to a spell.
see now we're talking. Because like they're intelligent combatants. Like give them some fighter battle maneuver kind of shit.
Yep.
I'm in there. I'm in for it. 100%. Yeah, they should have some sort of extra strategy to knock you prone and then chop your head off. You know, something like that.
Like sweep the legs or something like that, or
Absolutely. Use this. That's because some of those are universal skills. They don't have to be baked into the stat blocks. So that's a really good point. That's something we've never really touched on too much. There are those universal skills that don't always get used very often, like the shove mechanic. That's what this creature should be taking advantage of. And if you feel like you need to add a little extra something to make sure they can knock someone prone or you know, sort of grapple them and what have you, and have a little extra edge on that, give it to this creature. Like that's what this creature deserves.
For sure. Give him a feat. Give him great weapon fighting. Give him a battle maneuver. I like what you're saying with the spells, and we'll touch more on Luthic and what she gives her followers in the next episode. But there is a precedent to giving them, spells. Like maybe I think True Strike would be a great spell for this creature. Like, you know, it casts True Strike on itself. It goes into battle, hits the javelin, and then just immediately follows up with the Great Axe. Like, I would not limit its multi-attack to 2 Great Axe. I'd make it whatever. Like I always play multi-attack fast and loose. I just look at the number. I don't look at the words past it. Okay, multi-attack 2. Okay, it gets 2 attacks. So it, casts True Strike on itself. Next turn, it opening volleys with the Javelin, moves in and follows up with the Great Axe. Like that's enough for me. So the Javelin is going to hit with that True Strike. And then, it runs in and gives you a big old swing, draws its Great Axe while it's moving. Like, there's so much room for improvement. And we have given Wizards the business about these bland generic stat blocks more than enough. And I think in this case it's a little unfair because they did so much other good work with orcs that, again, sucks for the listeners that you got to wait for a week, but we will touch on it next week.
Sick. Can't wait. Well, I have 2 things to say. One is, and under no circumstances, despite what you said, does Encounter this support the cantrip known as True Strike. It is the worst spell in the entire game, hands down.
Okay.
It is horrible. I don't know if you know how horrible this spell is, James. It's fucking awful. It's terrible. It's bad. Just go read it, and it's bad. Don't ever use it. No one ever take it. It should be expunged from all records.
You give yourself advantage on an attack. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but it costs you a full action to do. You have to spend your entire turn hoping that by the time your next turn comes around, you don't get hit because it's a fucking concentration spell. Like, you have to concentrate up until your next turn. If you get hit, you might just lose the whole thing and just waste everything. It's absurd.
Yeah,
by rules is written, it's an awful spell.
No, that's fair. And
no one should ever take it.
To the listeners, to my players, that there's no reason any cantrip should ever really be concentration.
No,
that's ridiculous. I understand.
Ludicrous.
I understand why, because advantage is incredibly powerful, but it's not powerful enough.
That powerful.
Yeah.
No.
So if I was to give it to this creature, I would just. I mean, I'm all like, even if you sit at my table,
give
and
it
I cast True Strike. It's like I'm not gonna make you concentrate on True Strike.
Give it like a sniper aim thing. Like if it holds and like aims, then it has a guaranteed advantage on the next turn. Same idea, but it's not concentrate. So even if someone gets into melee, they've just negated disadvantage for shooting in melee for themselves. Like, why not something like that? It still gives you an extra boost even if someone gets up on your goodies.
Sure. I mean, I would just change it to you get advantage. Like, it's just an ability. Yeah, it's insight. They get advantage on their next attack. Like,
sure, yeah.
Like we're already in homebrew territory. It doesn't have to be True Strike. I did not realize that's a concentration spell. Wizards, you done fucked up again.
Seriously.
That's wild. That's
so bad.
Like, my blood is boiling. We need to move on from that because that's
the other thing I wanted to point out was it just kind of dawned on me how we talk about how spells are especially the way they do spell listings in some of these stat blocks, and you're like opposed to them because why would you give a player element to a stat block in that regard. Just drop it in there. It should be more baked in and a little more natural, and rather than going through the same processes as players do. And we see other little hints of that, but in very, very passive manners, like evasion and stuff, or what's the one there for rogues where they
cunning action.
Cunning action, thank you. So we'll see those peek in, but like, when did we ever see something like a battle maneuver in a stat block? Never. Like, when did we see some of the other things in a stat block?
We have
Never.
seen like battle maneuver reminiscent things,
Have
but
we?
not
Yeah?
like proper battle maneuvers. Yeah.
So it's like it's this weird territory now where it's like maybe some things should be more considered from a player character stat block, but with some extra flavor added to it, and then plug that into the creature stat block. Don't just make it verbatim and the exact same thing. I've made that mistake as a GM before, where I had like an NPC like even aiding the party, and it was just a straight up build of a class, and the feedback I got after was, I didn't like that. And I thought it was going to be cool, and it was going to be epic, and it was going to be crazy, and they were like, nah. And I thought, shit, okay, well, lesson learned. Don't make them too similar.
Yeah,
And,
they can't outshine the players with their own abilities. It's
Right.
one thing to take like one ability, but to do like a proper class build is very, specifically in 5e, is very challenging to do well.
I won't get into it, and I think we should move on and finish up this episode, but I do highly recommend people going to take a quick look at Pathfinder 2nd Edition stat block, especially for just like martial creatures or what have you, and just get a feel for how they introduce some really interesting, unique mechanics per stat block that are, just are reflective of lots of the things we're talking about here, but are unique to those stat blocks and that creature or that person, what have you. And they do an exceptional job, in my opinion. There's some really, really cool stuff that they've pulled off in that thing. And of course, it uses a different action economy too, so you have to keep that in mind. But at least it would be a really good source for inspiration in trying to just beef up or give some interesting mechanics to a creature like this, where it's just so bland and simple. It's powerful. It's got all this, energy and strength and everything, and it's going to hit hard, but there's not really any flavor to it. Not much interesting going on. So that would be my recommendation. Just go perusing. If you don't have no desire to play Pathfinder or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like I love Pathfinder a lot, but we still do 5e because it's cool to like cross-reference and really look at different mechanics, different standpoints, especially when it comes to lore as well, and just have a comparison and just use those things for inspiration. I think that's the whole point of this podcast, right? Inspiration.
Yep. And if you don't want to cross the street into Pathfinder and look at those big old numbers, you can find a lot of the similar abilities from 4e, because both Pathfinder 2e and 4e are all based off the back of 3rd edition.
Right.
So you get the same sort of instances from 4e if you want to stick with Dungeons and Dragons. And I've pulled stuff from 4e before.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
But if you have any ideas on how to make this stat block interesting, we would love to hear from you. We've said our piece and plenty about it already, but we're always looking for new and better ideas. So you can reach out to us at info@encounterthis.ca. You can hit us up on Twitter and Facebook at EncounterPod, or Instagram at encounter.pod. You can find our backlog as well as all the show notes, where I've linked lotr.fandom.com at least 3 times in our show notes at encounterthis.ca, or in the link of the description for this episode. And if you have time to rate and review us, we'd really appreciate it. And if you really like this episode, just wait for next episode, where Orctober culminates in the ultimate episode, and we intend to blow your pants off with stat blocks and lore and the conclusion to this wonderful exposition that I'm very proud of. And a big thank you to all of our voice actors. All of them will be in the credits after all this, but if you want to help support us to do things like this, these larger suites, these larger commitments where we actually bring in outside talent, you can do that at patreon.com/encounterthis. $5 a month will get you a handwritten letter and access to our show notes. You can see the documents that we used to produce these episodes. And then for $10 a month, you can suggest a creature. Maybe you want to see us do, I don't even know what we talked about in this episode. Something else. You want to see us do a creature from Pathfinder, the Pathfinder orcs. $10 a month will do that. We'll do a creature from any system for that price. Doesn't have to be D&D 5e. We won't know what we're talking about, but we'll do it.
We'll find a way.
We will find a way.
Life finds a way. That's the second time in 2 days that someone's referenced that.
Jurassic Park?
Yeah, just that exact quote for me.
Oh,
like,
okay.
it's the second time.
Well, we hope you found your way to enjoying this episode, and we thank you so much for listening. And we will be back in a week with the ultimate episode in Orctober, where we talk about orcs, believe it or not. A huge thank you this week to Jessica Zecker as Neff the Sunder, Duncan Forbes as Gorok the Warmaker, Scott Barber as Mobad the Urog, and, as always, Freeman Easton as the Elder.